Hi, this is KP with Coronavirus Diaries, a channel dedicated to the documentation of a world under lockdown. Or not. Perhaps the stay-at-home order has been lifted in your area. Let me know in the comments below. And please subscribe to the channel so we can keep you up to date on what's happening. Today we're going to look at some numbers and do a little math. Now don't worry, I'm going to do all the math for you and it's really not that hard math. Let me direct you to a website first that keeps up with current information. Worldometers.info/coronavirus. Now I like this website for the most part in that they give you a lot of information and they update it constantly. The way they lay it out is generally pretty good, but there are a few places where it can be a little confusing. Let's start at the top of the world page. As you can see, we've got this big box up at the top with the overall number of cases, the number who have died, and the number who have recovered. And then you have two more boxes under it that split that number of total cases into those that are still active and those that have been closed due to death or recovery. Notice that the numbers up here match the ones over here. And if you were to just focus on those, you would think that we are totally screwed with this 14% mortality rate, but you have to take into account all these to the left though. Over half the known cases are still active, and 98% of them are experiencing 0 to mild symptoms. As these people recover, and as the 2% of the people in serious and critical condition either recover or die, the numbers to the right are going to change drastically and this mortality rate is going to go down considerably. Let's talk about mortality rate, because I hear a lot of different numbers being thrown around, some very high, and some that make this look like it's nothing to worry about for most. And they're both true. I mean, it is high when compared to the flu, it is highly contagious, and it is quite deadly to the high-risk folks. Since we don't have a final number until this is over, and since the U.S. is leading in the number of total deaths, let's take a look at the mortality rate here in the U.S. and compare it with the rest of the world. First off, let's jump into that part of the website, and you're going to see that they do not split the total number into active and closed, they just show the closed. And it has this huge percentage of people who died sitting at 20%, a higher percentage than even the entire world's. Now let's back up and actually crunch some numbers to show that it really isn't that high. So our total number of cases is 1,633,236, and our total number of deaths is 97,140, which puts us at an alarming 5.9% mortality. But you have to remember that when you add up the number who have died with the number who have recovered, you do not get the total cases. You get the total cases minus the number of active cases, which comes out to 482,426, the number of closed cases in the U.S. The number of active cases is almost 3 times that. So let's compare those numbers and see if they are any worse than the world at large. If we divide the number of people in serious condition into the number of current active cases, we get about 1.5%. And just to check the math, if we subtract the number in serious condition from the number of active cases, then we get the number of people in mild condition, and they make up about 98.5% of the active cases in the U.S., so about the same as the rest of the world. As people in mild condition recover, and as the much smaller number of people in serious condition recover or die, this 5.9% is going to go down just like the 14% on the world stage. The more testing that is delivered and the more people we see that have mild or no symptoms at all will give us a more accurate mortality rate of this disease. When you take into account the only people being tested in many locations around the world are people who are already showing symptoms, you begin to see that even this data that I'm showing you is going to be skewed to the worst possible scenario. The only way we could get an accurate set of data would be to test everyone at once, symptoms or not, and see where the chips fall, which is pretty much impossible. Anyway, I hope that clarifies some things. Y'all have an excellent weekend and God bless. This is KP signing off.